Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I was wrestling Din Djarin for a little something back here. Looks like I'm the new ruler of Mandalore, so hey, go figure. Um, Before I get started, let me take care of some business first, and then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes all the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you want to know when I'm going live again next, you're going to go down to that bell down there, hit that. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also have all the links to my social media on there and all of my pages as well. So this YouTube channel page, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. So thank you, Pen. Let's get to it, shall we? Um, yeah, the big news is Marvel is suing the creators of, well, actually, I should say the creators' heirs, and then also their estates to keep Marvel characters that are already currently in the MCU from copyright termination. So a couple of decades ago, this happened with Superman and the Schuster estate, and also the Siegel estates as well. The heirs wanted a piece of, the Superman creation, considering that they sold it for a paltry amount. I mean, completely paltry amount. And they did end up getting some compensation, not a lot, but basically it's all the same players again that's going on. The lawyers that represented the Schusters and Siegel estate, the Schuster and Siegel estate, is actually representing the Ditko estate, and I forget who else. I believe the Lee estate, a couple others as well. And the guy that was actually representing DC or Warner Brothers at the time, against, of course, the heirs, is now representing Marvel Disney in order to do that as well. So yeah, it's an old, yeah, it's really kind of stupid. So the characters in question right now are Iron Man, Spider Man, Doctor Strange, Ant Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Falcon, Thor, and a few others as well. So, yeah, this just sucks when things like this happen. They're trying to make the argument that it's work for hire, that it was works that were made for hire. Uh, when really now what we've got going on in with movies and things like that. I mean, sure, you had movies back then, but they weren't going to make movies, comic book movies. They didn't make them. There wasn't a thought of that, quite honestly, just because the production value wasn't there. They tried. I mean, there was Batman movies, serials, Superman serials and TV shows, things like that that happened back in the 40s and even, the 60s, 70s, all that kind of stuff. So you really it really needs to be, the creators need to be compensated. They really do. And yes, they're heirs as well, because that is part of what, that's what they were doing this stuff for. They're working in order to provide for their children. And yeah, I know there's a lot of contention about it, about people saying, well, their kids never created it, so why do they get a cut of this? And it's like, well, actually their kids were alive when they were doing this. So yeah, they were working for their kids. It's a pension, really, is what it was, considering they never got a pension. So yeah, this is what's going on right now. It's going to be ugly, and it's just going to get uglier because, Disney's involved as well. Well, Disney owns Marvel, so yeah, that's what's going to end up happening. So it's going to be a very ugly thing that's going on. So let's move on to something else, shall we? Russell T Davies is returning as the Doctor Who showrunner. That's right. I know we were talking about J. Michael Straczynski at one point, was, I guess, approached by the BBC to take it over, which would have been interesting. But Russell T Davies is going back, and he's going to take this over again. So when Chris Chibnall departs next year, so he's actually going to resume his role in and prepare it to market for the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who in 2023. So yes, 2023 is going to be the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, and he also needs to find a new Doctor Who as well, because Jodie Whittaker is taking off after Chris Chibnall takes off there too. They're both leaving at the same time, so we'll see what happens and where they go from there. Again, like, I am not the biggest Doctor Who fan out there. I know there are plenty of other people that are much, much more jazzed about this than I am. I'm just like, okay, sure, that sounds great. So Raymond asks, so how will this affect the MCU or Marvel Comics, going back to the lawsuits that are happening or them suing? Right now, it's not going to do anything. You're still going to end up having these movies being made and the comics being made. It's just the payments, like who gets what slice of the pie is really what it is. It's not like Disney is going to go, you know what? We're not going to make these movies anymore because we're only getting, $750 million out of that $1 billion pie. No, it's not going to happen. Yeah. And also considering that they spent a bunch of money on like Disneyland and Disney World and all the other Disneylands out there in order to put like, Marvel themed locations, on their properties. I think it's there to stay for a little while. Yeah. Penn says, I wanted to see what Straczynski would do, but I guess this is okay. Yeah, I wanted to see what Straczynski was going to do too. I was actually going to watch Doctor Who at that point if Straczynski was going to be involved in it, because I actually like what he does. So, you're not a fan of Jodie Whittaker, Penn? Yeah, I know a lot of people aren't. I tried watching. I think I watched the first 2 episodes, and I was like, yeah, not for me. Gone. And it just I didn't like her acting. I really did not like her acting, and the storylines were a little preachy as far as I'm concerned. And Keith is not a fan of Chris Chibnall, obviously. Yeah. Raymond K. Hessel says, without spoilers, David Tennant's son in the third is in the 3rd episode. Yeah, of Doom Patrol. I know. I will be talking about that later on this afternoon. As a matter of fact, today is a 3-fer for you because I didn't do episode 2 yesterday. I was just fucking tired after work. And yeah. So I ended up so I'll tell you what I did yesterday after work. I found out there's a taco truck that is in my neighborhood that actually got a Michelin star bib, is what they call it. And I was like, fuck, I know where that taco truck is. And I never ate. I've driven past it before, and I'm like, I got to try it. So, of course, I tried it, and it's really fucking good. And then also, the dark saber arrived too. I had to set up the whole, fight thing that we had to do in order to become new ruler of Mandalore and all that kind of shit. There's all these procedures that are in place for that. Penn says it was more of the writing than the actors. They robbed Capaldi too. Now she wants to. So yeah, they have this pork. My God, it's I've seen it on like Food Network channels and stuff like that, and I've heard about it. And it's a really fucking good pork. It's spicy as all hell. And I got 2 tacos, trying that out, and I was like, fuck yeah. And I'm actually gonna go back today and get a super burrito from that. So, because my fat ass needs that. Um, Raymond says, what do tires have to do with tacos? Tires? I didn't talk about tires. But I don't know what tires have to do with tacos. You tell me. Um, yeah. March 10th, 2022, The Orville returns to Hulu only. And it gets a new title. It's called The Orville New Horizons. Whatever that means. So, Nah, nah. I honestly I gave up on the second season of that thing. Yeah, like I said, the one episode that was just one long piss joke, that was what did it for me. And I was like, nope, I'm out. Sorry. Oh, what a tires? Okay, Michelin, got it. So, back in the 50s and the 60s, I believe is what it was, or no, the 30s. Excuse me, the 30s. Michelin used to have a guide. There used to be guides that went out there to tell you what to do when you're on the road. And so Michelin actually had guides of where to eat. And their guide became so popular that to get a Michelin star was an honor and actually something you strove for. And it was very hard to get. It still is to this day. Yeah. But it is from that whole thing, is really what it is, of that driving, guides and stuff like that, which I always found interesting about guides. When you think about uh, the past and the stuff that came out of the past as well, like all these different guides. I mean, Lovecraft Country actually touched on this as well. There were guides for people of color on where not to go, where they could stay, where they could safely drive through and not get killed, kind of thing. Which obviously, of course, was a something that was necessary at that time. But then also just like where to eat, where to go and see things. I mean, you had these paper guides, these paper books. I actually remember still when I first started driving, I'm not going to say when, uh, I had the Thomas Guide, which of course was a big book of just maps for certain areas. And I had one for California. And I fucking used that thing like crazy, man. I mean, I would thumb through that. I went pretty much all over Northern California at one point in time, and I used that map book all the time. Yeah. Yeah. Tires al pastor. Hey, D-Bith, how's it going? And by the way, happy belated birthday to you as well. Yes. Raymond says, like the green book, but actually awesome. Yeah, this is true. Uh, Honestly, Michelin stars, you really do strive for this. And I never thought a taco truck was actually going to get a Michelin star, quite honestly. And then I tried it and I was like, holy fuck balls, this is actually really good. Um, they also, I'm going to delve into food here for just a second. They do a quesadilla with squash blossoms in there. Yeah. uh, like I said, taco truck. We're in I'm in Northern California. So Northern California, especially on the peninsula, you need to up your fucking game if you're going to be in a taco truck. And so the name of the pork that they actually use that I got the tacos is cochinitas is what it's called. And it's spicy. It's fucking awesome. And I'm actually going to get some more again today, like I said, in the burrito. Raymond says, yeah, I think Guinness book was used to solve barroom arguments. That's where it came from. Yeah, this is true. Back in the 1800s, I want to say, is when Guinness came out. Yeah. So yeah, all these weird little books that come out because of uh, news that doesn't travel. Uh, when you didn't have a connected society, when you didn't have a little phone, a little device that you could pull out and say, "Hey, let me search that." You had a book that you had to go to, or word of mouth, things of that nature. And when you had word of mouth, people would write it down. And of course, they put it in a book, and then of course they would use that. So that's what happens. And speaking of which, November 17th, Marvel's Hit Monkey comes to comes to Hulu. So it's an animated series, and if you're unfamiliar with Hit Monkey, I'm not surprised. This came out of the Deadpool world, quite honestly, and it's a monkey that actually is a hitman. I shit you not, he's a hitman. And it's fucking funny. It really is. I've been looking forward to this series ever since I heard it announced, and I was like, "Hey, it's coming out on Hulu November 17th. I guess I'm just going to keep my Hulu account open for right now because I'll probably be covering it most likely." It's, I mean, Jason Sudeikis is one of the voices, Olivia Munn and George Takei, or Takei. Yeah, and I'm definitely looking forward to this. I really am. It just the trailer looked funny. The animation's decent, so yeah, I think that'll work. Raymond says, please tell me he teams up with Howard. So Howard the Duck was supposed to get his own animated series as well, as was Tigra and Dazzler. Tigra and Dazzler were supposed to have their own series that got canceled. The Howard the Duck one, I don't know if that's still on or not. This of course was during the whole Jeff Loeb, near the tail end of the Jeff Loeb era, and Kevin Feige was going through with a butcher knife and just going slash slash slash, and he was just taking everything out. Unfortunately, they left the MODOK one in, which, good God, if you've watched that MODOK, just the first episode alone, you'd probably said, what the fuck is this piece of shit? Kind of like what I did. Yeah. And yes, I hope Howard the Duck does show up again. Having Howard the Duck show up in the what the or what if what the what if series has just been awesome. And of course, having Seth Green, going back and voicing it again is pretty funny. So yeah. Super Mario Brothers. There's a Super Mario Brothers animated film that's going to be coming out, and it's going to star Chris Pratt and Anna Taylor-Joy. They're going to be doing the voices there. Okay, sure. I'm not the biggest Chris Pratt fan, so yeah, whatever. Cool, man. Anna Taylor-Joy, though, yeah, I'll go and see anything with Anna Taylor-Joy if she's in it, not just voicing it. Yeah. The Super Mario Brother animated movie, I can wait till that comes out on, HBO Max or whatever it's going to come out on. So, or probably Amazon, most likely. Chris Pratt as an Italian? I know. Where's the uproar on that one? I mean, Chris Pratt is an Italian. How can he play an Italian American? Sorry. I can't keep a straight face on that one. I really can't. Oh man. It's a Mario. See, you got to do the stereotype. You need to do the hands when you're doing the stereotype voice there. I don't know why. It's just law. Greg Berlanti, yes, the guy who's doing like 15, 16 different really bad DC superhero shows on CW. He's doing a documentary series about DC Comics for HBO Max. Kind of like the ones that are already going on Disney Plus for Marvel, called Marvel's Legends. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I don't know. Is Warner Brothers DC, are they just pretty much copying whatever Marvel's doing? They're like, hey, that's a good idea. Let's do that too. Hey, that's a good idea. Let's do that too. Um, this, of course, comes on the heels of, they were supposed to do a Supergirl movie, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on at Warner Brothers right now where they don't know what they want to do. If they want to do movies, superhero movies, if they want to do superhero movies with a lower budget just for HBO Max, or if they want to do superhero series, kind of like Titans, Doom Patrol, things of that for HBO Max, and just do it that way. So Supergirl originally was supposed to be a movie. Now, and then they said, oh no, we're going to make it into an HBO Max movie, because that's where the Batgirl movie is heading, is as HBO Max, as an HBO Max movie. And now they're saying Supergirl, this is the dark-haired Supergirl they're going with, which is gonna be introduced in, Ezra Miller's The Flash, in the Snyder Murderverse, version of that. They're gonna introduce this Supergirl, who most likely she's gonna kill about 50 or 60 people to begin with, so that's gonna set things off, and she's gonna get her own series on HBO Max as well. I Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, the only thing good coming out of DC right now, the DC movies, I should say, the DC EU, is Doom Patrol. That's the only thing that's good that's coming out of it right now. Hey, Mark. Um, yeah, that's about the only thing I'm enjoying. I could say Aquaman as well and Shazam. Okay, for movies, Aquaman and Shazam, I can handle those. Those are actually decent as well. And Aquaman 2 is going to be coming out next year. The end of next year is what I've been hearing. And they've had some announcements of people that they've hired on and stuff like that. Cast. They've actually recast the original king of Atlantis before Atlantis sunk, and I guess maybe he's going to get resurrected in the next movie. We don't know. That was a comic book plot. Yeah, there's a couple different things that are going on right now. They have a new character named Stingray, and then Tiger Shark is being cast. These are all obscure characters, by the way, unless you read the Aquaman comic. Tiger Shark, of course, was a shark that was bombarded with some type of radiation and evolved quickly and is now kind of a humanoid tiger shark and is usually kind of a villain in Aquaman. And Stingray, no one knows what they're about because it's a new character. Raymond says, I rewatched Swamp Thing and couldn't believe they canceled. Yeah, well, so Raymond, that was the other. I forgot about Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing was a really great show. That was James Wan that did that one. He spent the money that he would have made a movie of it on that series. Um, excuse me. And the whole scuttlebutt behind that one was supposedly he thought he was going to get a whole bunch of tax breaks from Georgia, the state of Georgia. He didn't get those tax breaks because they only can allow so many tax breaks a year. And so they already met their quota and they were like, nope, we can't give you those tax breaks. So I think he spent something like $80 million on that series. And when the WB execs found out that their Coke budget was getting slashed, for the stuff that was getting blown up their ass, as soon as the first episode dropped, they canceled the series. Yeah, it was really stupid of them on that one, but yeah, it was something like $82 million or something like that they spent on it. I can't remember what it was. It was a ridiculous amount of money for a TV series. But it's really good. I mean, it's one of the best TV series that, got canceled straight out the gate. But yeah, I liked it a lot. Here's something that probably should be canceled straight out of the gate. Scott Bakula says talks are underway for a reboot of Quantum Leap. Oh, take it with a grain of salt because, as he even said, that the rights are so screwed up that he doesn't think the rights are still straightened out at the moment because Universal TV was the one that actually had the rights to it, even though Universal was bought by NBC, Comcast, or so. NBC Universal is what NBC Peacock is, and they're owned by Comcast. It's this weird little, Russian doll setup of shit that they've got going on. And oh, you've never watched Quantum Leap, Pen? You should watch Quantum Leap. It's actually decent. It's a decent series. It's also got Dean Stockwell in there too. So Dan Belisario, I can't remember who created the series. They would bring him back on board for this, and he has still told Scott Bakula, he goes, "Whenever I write this, he goes, I think of you and Dean. That's all he thinks of when he does this. So who knows if they're going to, if they're ever going to reboot it, if they have the rights to it, I don't know. Yeah." Mark says they reboot the 4400. Why not reboot everything? Yeah, again, it goes back to the old idiom that I keep saying, or not idiom, the old chestnut I keep polishing. There's tons of shit out there, as you can see from the books behind me, that they can choose from and do a new series, but it's not proven. So why not go back to shit that's proven that they can just remake over and over and over again? Excuse me. So yeah, Penn, I never watched Quantum Leap when it first came out. I watched an episode here and there. Um, I actually came into Quantum Leap in the 90s, I want to say, on Sci-Fi Channel when they were doing the reruns on that. And that's how I watched the entire, all 4 seasons of that. Although the last episode, you're going to get pissed. Everyone was pissed by the last episode just because of how shitty they ended it. Yeah. October 28th, The Suicide Squad hits Blu-ray and DVD. Um, excuse me, it was a decent movie. Am I gonna buy it? Depends on what the sale price is at Target or Best Buy or something like that. I'll probably end up buying it. It's got Starro in it. I mean, I'm a sucker for Starro. I really am. So yeah, I'll probably end up buying it. And it was a decent movie. Plus, it's got gag reels on it. If you go to my YouTube channel page, not my YouTube channel, excuse me, my Facebook page, I actually put up the blooper reel, one of the blooper reels that they have up there, which is pretty funny. And did you know? So those of you who've seen the movie know that at one point, excuse me, sinus is just acting up a little bit. There's a scene in there where Harley Quinn has to unlock herself from, she's being shackled above her head. She's hanging from the shackles, and she grabs keys with her toes and then hoists them up and then unlocks the lock above her head. That's actually Margot Robbie doing that stunt. It wasn't a stunt double. That was actually Margot Robbie who did that. Yeah. Keith Hamilton says Dennis bought Bloodshot, so he'll thanks. Thanks for reminding me I own that piece of shit, Keith. That was the early days of the pandemic, man. We didn't know any better. I spent $20 on that shit. Ugh. Thanks for reminding me I actually have that there now. Keith says, bring back Sliders. That show was good. They think they tried to at one point, and I think it crashed and burned. I mean, it's not like Jerry O'Connell's doing anything. He really isn't. He's just trying to keep from blowing up into Fat Boy again. That's all it is. And I say this as a fat person, it's hard to do sometimes. Penn says, $20 and how many brain cells? It was a lot of brain cells. Actually, I do have to admit, though, there was one bright spot in that movie, and that was, fuck, I can never remember his name now. He was a new girl. He's also, stars in the series Woke. And fuck if I can remember his name. And he's got a unique name as well, and I can't remember it. I really can't. There we go. Lamorne Morris. Lamorne Morris. Yeah. So Lamorne Morris is actually the high point of that entire movie because he's doing a fake British accent, but he does it convincingly. And he's the most likable character in the entire movie. Go figure. And you know what? I like Guy Pearce as well, and I didn't like him in this movie. And I've seen pretty much everything Guy Pearce has done. I'm a fan of Guy Pearce. He's actually a really good actor. And I want to say that Russell Crowe stole the career that Guy Pearce should have had. He really did. They were on the same movie, LA Confidential together, and that's when their paths diverged. I want to say that Russell Crowe stole whatever energy that he could from Guy Pearce and went off and did that. Yeah. Anyone seen the trailer for La Brea? Thoughts? I haven't seen the trailer for La Brea. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. Isn't that where it's the whole thing about the prehistoric animals and stuff like that? Or not the prehistoric animals. It's like Land of the Lost, but you go through the La Brea tar pits in order to get there. Yeah. It's on Peacock, isn't it? Somewhere around there. All I heard was it's Land of the Lost, but through the La Brea tar pits, and I was like, another reboot. And the final thing I've got for you guys is April 15th, 2022, Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore hits theaters. For those of you out there who are such huge Harry Potter fans who are actually sticking around for that Fantastic Beasts series, I feel for you. I really do. Yeah. Oh, is it on NBC? Okay. Yeah, Peacock, NBC, it's all the same thing now. I don't have cable anymore, so yeah. I guess I could watch it over the air kind of thing and set up an antenna and all that kind of bullshit, but no, I don't. And also, I know that I want to say the first episode's up on Hulu, or not Hulu, YouTube right now for La Brea, or at least the first 5 or 15 minutes of it, something like that. That's where I heard about it. Was someone had posted it someplace. I go all these different sites, so I don't know exactly where I saw it. You're not a fan of Fantastic Beasts, Pen? The first 5 minutes. Thank you, Mark. Okay, so it was the first 5 minutes of it. Yeah, just start seeing the Land of the Lost. I mean, NBC actually owned the rights to Land of the Lost, so it makes sense that they rebooted it into La Brea. I wonder how the Croft brothers feel about that, or if they're still alive. So that's all I got for you guys. Um, news wise, there's other stuff out there, but there's a lot of rumors, conjectures, things like that. And yeah. Raymond says, "Ooh, maybe we'll get the epic battle between Dumbledore and Grindelwald. Grinwad. That's the porn version of it. Dumbledore and Grinwad. There's just too many jokes that were going through my head at the moment. I had to take a moment of silence. Penn says I'm old, so I loved the old Land of the Lost. Yeah. Mark Magino says I'm just searching for some new sci-fi shows after the bore fest that Foundation seems to be. I've heard that the first episode of Foundation is boring as all hell. But what do you want? It's an Apple TV. Your thoughts on the Hawkeye trailer? Raymond says, I'm looking forward to it. It looks like fun, quite honestly, and I like Jeremy Renner's take on Hawkeye. He actually is doing the whole smartass thing that Hawkeye does. If you watch the animated Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the Avengers series that's on Disney Plus right now that I've been watching, it's Hawkeye. He's doing the smartass Hawkeye that is from the comics, also from the cartoons, all that stuff, and introducing Kate Bishop with this actress is great as well. I mean, I'm glad they were able to get her because I mean she was doing that Apple TV movie. I fucking forget what it was, and I think it crashed and burned, so they ended up bringing her back. Yeah, Haley Steinfeld. There we go. I remembered her name. I just had to think about it for a little while. How many have you watched, Dennis, of Land of the Lost? I think I've watched the entire season at one point, or seasons. I think it's what, 2 seasons? Yeah. Keith says, "Anyone watch Squid Game?" I loved it. I haven't watched Squid Game yet. That is on my list of things. Mark Magino says, "I mean, it's the most beautiful Boar Fest I've ever seen, but still." That is until Dune comes out from Dennis Villeneuve, and then I heard that one is supposed to be really, really beautiful, but is if you have insomnia, supposedly it cures insomnia like that. But I expect no less from a Dennis Villeneuve film. Oh, Potter porn is what she says. How many have I watched of Potter porn? I've never watched Potter porn, believe it or not. I'm just really not into the, Harry Potter universe. So that's just not my bag. Mark Magino says, nah, Dune was great. Oh, you've already seen it? Oh, that's right. I forgot. It's come out in Europe. It hasn't come out over here in the States as of yet. I'm just gonna watch it on HBO Max because I'll be surrounded by pillows, and that way, when I eventually do drift off in the first 5 minutes, I'll be comfortable. I also have recliners too that have Tempur-Pedic foam and all that stuff in there. So as long as I'm reclining, I'm good, and I can just go out. I heard that the movie is only the prologue, essentially, of the books. That he never really gets into it at all. Yeah, I like the David Lynch movie as well, I have to admit. Raymond says Foundation started in the worst possible way with a 20-minute exposition dump given as an overdub narration. Ooh, 20 minutes? Why don't they just put it out as text so everyone could read it? Mark says, I watched Dune with a reader of the books and he liked it. Oh, okay. Usually, if you've read the books and you can fill in the blanks here and there, either you're really pissed off because the whoever did the movie never read the book, or the person who made the movie read the book and is covering surface areas, and they're letting the other people that have read the books fill in the blanks. But again, I'm not a fan of the director. I'm really not. Arrival, which everyone keeps saying, oh, is the best sci-fi movie ever. I figured out in the first 15 minutes of it. And then I was just kind of like, get on with it. When are you going to get there? Get on with it. Let's go. I know you're trying to be clever. It's not working. Move on. Do it. Yeah. It just became tedious after a while. And it wasn't, I mean, again, it was shot well, but you can shoot there's a lot of directors out there that can make things look really pretty, but just have a vapid, empty storyline. I'm looking at you, McG. Um, actually, McG does some fun stuff, I have to admit. He's like Michael Bay light. He's the thinking man's Michael Bay. So that's the best insult I've ever read in a review. Mick LaSalle from the Chronicle, the San Francisco Chronicle here, way back when Freddie Prinze was in this bad sci-fi movie. Is based on a video game. Wing Commander. There we go. It was Wing Commander. And Mick LaSalle called Freddie Prinze Jr. the thinking man's Keanu Reeves. And then he put in parentheses, think about that one for a moment. And I fucking just started laughing. And I thought that was the best insult I've ever read. And from there on, I've kind of cribbed it and I've used it. Raymond says, thank you. I disliked Arrival too. He tries too hard. Yeah, he tries too hard to be Kubrick. And He's really just, like I said, uh, he's a video director. A music video director is really what he is. That's what Dennis Villeneuve is. He tries to be edgy and shit, and it's just like, yeah, dude, go back to film school. Just go back and just do your film school films. I know everyone else in the industry loves him and whatnot. It's just like, yeah, your stuff's really boring. And the thing that gets me is he gets outraged when something doesn't become a franchise, like Blade Runner 2049. He tries to blame it on the studio. He tried blaming Warner Brothers for 2049, saying that it didn't become a franchise because of the way Warner Brothers marketed it. And I'm like, no, it didn't become a franchise because it was fucking boring as hell. That's the reason why it didn't become a franchise. Uh, yeah. Granted, it's tough to follow what happened, with the movie, the original movie, 30 years later, especially when you bring Decker in halfway into the movie and then, try and get us to all buy into it. Yeah. And also when half the audience is already asleep halfway into it at that point. And it doesn't make any difference why he's there or not. So, I mean, yeah. Penn says, I look forward to checking out Doom, but I feel the miniseries was. I remember the miniseries that was on Sci Fi. I remember I started to watch it and I gave up on it. Yeah, no, I'm not braving the cinema, Mark. See, I live in the United States where there's a bunch of dumb fucks that won't vaccinate or wear masks and things like that, and I don't feel like getting exposed to them. Yeah, maybe when everything's over with, or it's died down quite a bit. Raymond says, didn't he say something about Marvel recently? Yes. He tried taking the Scorsese route on that one. So he's trying to already pre-blame Warner Brothers for this because they're releasing on HBO Max and theaters at the same time. And he's saying it's going to hurt the franchise potential again, is what he's saying on this. I'm like, no, it's going to be your movie that's going to hurt the franchise potential because look at Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi has made $30 million. Yes, it didn't come out on Disney Plus, at the same time or whatnot, or $300,000, excuse me, $300 million, 300,000. Shang-Chi has made over $300 million worldwide. There we go. So, Mark Maggio says those idiots are here too, but we have to prove vaccination. So we don't have that here, Mark. You have it. We have it for restaurants in San Francisco and bars, restaurants and bars in San Francisco. You have to show your vaccination, but it's not all over Northern California. I wish we had that, but yeah. Because then we have people going, "You're stomping on my rights," whatever, redneck. Anyway, I delved into politics for just a second and came back again. Yeah. Yeah. With that said, yeah, um, I'll see it on HBO Max when it comes out. That's about it. I will not. I'm not going to a drive-in again, especially since there's only one drive-in near me. They keep sending me emails for me to come back, and I'm like, no, unless you fix your shitty projector and also your policies of bringing, letting cars just keep roaming in while the movie's going on. Fuck you. Not doing that. Otherwise, I would go to the drive-in and go and watch it. That would be perfectly acceptable. But no. Well, also, I mean, I don't know, 3 hours in a car, watching that, I don't think I can do it either. I'd rather be at home where I can pause it, well, after I've woken up for the 15th time, I can pause it, go to the bathroom, get something to eat, do something else, come on back, maybe do the dishes, do a self root canal, then come back and then watch it again. Penn says I actually went to the drive-in and it was pretty good. Yeah, I know. There's only one drive-in. I mean, the other one's in Sacramento, and I'm not gonna drive like 80 miles away just to go fucking watch a movie. As it was, I drove 25 miles to go and watch a movie, so that's about my limit right there. Again, if Disney Plus would actually just charge that extra 20 or $30 or whatever it is, I would have paid it and I would have watched it on TV. I have a surround sound system, I have a good big screen TV, all that stuff. I could have been content watching it at home. But no. No. Mark Manchner says, "Really compared to Foundation, Dune is an action-filled blockbuster." Oof. Well, that's not saying much. I mean, I heard Foundation's just really super boring. Well, it's kind of funny. It's like Stargirl. I know this. I probably should say this for spoiler alert tomorrow, but I've been watching Stargirl and Stripe the robot. It's just been sitting there idle this entire time, and I think we're like 5 episodes in now at some point, or 4 or 5. I can't remember where we're at. And the villains have smashed the shit out of the robot. And I actually had stated in spoiler alert that they don't have enough money in the budget in order to animate the robot, so something's going to happen to it. And sure enough, I was right. They destroyed the robot in order to keep it from being animated, which I found fucking hilarious. And I'm pretty sure that's what Foundation was. Is they went for exposition rather than actually showing stuff because it was cheaper. Raymond says, I only watched it for the talented Jared Harris. I did like him as Professor Moriarty. Oh, you, yeah, you saw that too, Ben. It's kind of funny how that works out, huh? Where I'm thinking about this and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna happen because of this. And sure enough, it happens. I'm like, fuck, I hate being right. I really do hate being right, when that happens. But yeah. Mark says no, it was very expensive, but so much talk about math. That's the way to get your audience involved. We're gonna do equations. Does everyone know what a derivative is, boys and girls? No? Let me show it to you and show you what a proof is. Da, 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 da. Talk about reaching the lowest common denominator. But bum. I got a million of them. Wait, let's divide that out. Yes. Ben says I keep forgetting what night Stargirl is on because you aren't covering it, but then I catch up. Yeah, I know I look at the CW app and it pops up and I'm like, oh, okay, it's there, and I watch it. Stargirl, I mean, not Stargirl, Supergirl has gotten fucking preachy as shit. It's it reminds me of there was a Simpsons episode where the moms groups got upset about how much violence was in Itchy and Scratchy, and so the and they won stuff in court in order to make Itchy and Scratchy less violent. So the new Itchy and Scratchy cartoons are all preachy about just as about they're about to do violence, they stop and they go, "Wait, let's sit and talk about this, and we'll talk out our and they start talking about their issues, and the kids are like, "This fucking sucks," and they get up and leave and walk out. And of course, Itchy and Scratchy go bankrupt, the company that makes them. And I thought that was actually pretty funny. It's essentially what Supergirl has become now at this point. And I was giving it a lot of leeway, I really was, but this season is just, oh, it's bad. Mark Magino says, "Actually, the protagonist counts prime numbers in order to calm herself." Oh my fucking lord, I forgot about that. It's been a while since I've read Asimov, quite honestly, and, I remember there was a reason why I stopped. Yeah. Raymond says, "It's Asimov, you expect that." Oh, man. Um Well, like I said, I'm gonna let you guys go because I do have stuff I need to run off and take care of. So, what else is going on? Today at 4 p.m., I'm going to do episode 2 of Doom Patrol, season 3, episode 2 of Doom Patrol. And then at 6 p.m., I'm going to do episode 3 of season 3 of Doom Patrol. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. You have enough time to do it. It's on HBO Max. If you've got it, go and watch season 3 of Doom Patrol. The first 3 episodes are up. Tomorrow is going to be spoiler alert, where I take the basically where we talk about anything you guys want to talk about spoiler wise, as long as it's out to the general public. Yeah, Dune is not out here in the United States, but I don't care if you guys want to spoil it or not, because honestly, it's already been pre-spoiled. We know what the book is. It's been out for decades, and yeah, whatever. We can talk about that. Monday will be Why the Last Man, which is on FX on Hulu. We'll be doing episode 5 on that one. Tuesday, I'm going to take off so that I can rest and relax. I'm not doing Is It Worth My Time at the moment. And Wednesday will be What If. That's right. The new episode of What If is going to be up there. Thursday will be Doom Patrol. Friday, I'll be off. And then Saturday, we come back around to Saturday morning blast off, where I take the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. Is Why any good? Parts of it are, Mark, but they've injected current politics into it as well, and current American politics, I should say. And that's where it gets problematic because that was not in the original book. And I have a feeling it's going to be muckily ugly, is what's going to happen. Yeah. But yes, What If has been great, especially the last episode. Party Thor was awesome. Party Thor was fucking fantastic. So, um, with that said, thank you to everybody joining me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library. They know what you've been watching, all the dirty stuff and the porn that you keep typing in porn and all that kind of stuff in there. They know what you're doing. And they'll try and match it to one of the videos in my library, and most likely it'll pop up with something. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'll be on live again next, hit that bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com, like Penn has up in the chat there. Take a look at the schedule. I change it out every week, and I'm pretty close to my start times. Usually today was a little bit of a different day. I started off earlier, and then I wanted to start off really earlier, but I didn't make it. And yeah, shit happens. So thank you, everybody. I will see you again at 4 for Doom Patrol episode 2. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up being stuck in a Dennis Villeneuve movie that really has no plot. Wait, that's a Dennis Villeneuve movie. I'm being redundant. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again at 4. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, and stay safe out there. Have a good rest of your Saturday, and see you in a little bit. Thanks, everybody.